Welcome to the Big E. My name is Jasmin. Today I am talking about walking in my father's shoes, the knowing of a pedophile. I want to address very quickly though, for those of you who are minors, who are parents, this will be adult content. I am sharing this in a detailed way to bring information to those that this may have happened to and to acknowledge different cravings that our body will go through in wanting to relive this experience. And some of us may not realize it. We go through guilt and shame for so many years of what our body is trying to get, trying to relive in these cravings. So stay with me. But again, this is adult content. In the show, you're going to see me read cards. I want to get this so clear and so helpful that I've written some cards. I don't want to miss any of the points that I'm going to be giving today. But I want to start out with saying this show is not about shaming someone, whether it be me or the pedophile. It is not about blaming them or blaming myself, and it is not about accusing anyone. I am here to share the power of love and forgiveness. All right, I'm starting out the show very serious and very intense. I can feel it. This has been a difficult topic to approach, to even fathom that I would share this part of my life or my story. I don't work in blame. I don't go back to blame and accusing. I've healed through this. I've done the healing both for myself and my pedophile. But I've noticed sometimes in life as we go along, it's so important to share our experiences, what we've gone through, so that others may learn, others may be healed. It gives people information. So that is what I'm doing here. So if you are a victim of a pedophile, let me stop there. I'm going to personalize this and I'm going to say I. If this resonates with you, if this relates to you, I hope you reach out, you ask questions, please touch base with me. I'll help any way I can just by talking, answering questions. But let's start again, shall we? All right. I am a victim of a pedophile. When this happens to you, when it happened to me, it's so interesting to watch how my body is fighting to identify in the I. We want to be inclusive. We want to include everyone. The we, the us, we're all in this together. Well, it's important that I do this as me, the individual. When this is done to you, your body is not your own. My voice was taken away. I was disrespected. I was disregarded. And I became invisible. It's something that happens when you are victimized by a pedophile. The one thing I remember so much in growing up is I was also disregarded. It was like I was thrown to this corner, thrown away in this bag of shit in this corner, and no one gave a crap that I was there. I was to be tossed out. I was to be done away with. I was to be trashed as a pile of shit. This especially is true. There I go again. This especially was true for me because it was my father. When this happens to you from a family member or what we consider our heads of state, our heads of our family, that pillar that we look up to, it's for our safety. They are here. I believed that he was here for my safety, for my protection, especially when it was my father. When this is done to us by a family member, these are the people that we look up to, that we grow to really lean on, to trust for our safety, for our protection, to honor us, to be sacred with us, to help teach us. These are the people also that I believe should love me unconditionally. When I'm good, I'm bad, I'm ugly, I'm pretty. no matter what I'm going through, so that they can help reinforce I'm okay. But here's an option. Reinforce that there's maybe another way to do things in our life. That I did not get. I did not have that type of connection with my father. I lost all those things that were important to me as a child. The safety, the protection. So in this, I grew up thinking I was never protected. Everybody wanted something from me. Everybody wanted a piece of me. Everybody would use me. And I had no voice. I didn't have a right to say, nope, you can't do that. Nope, that doesn't feel right. So I didn't learn that until a very, very older age. When this happens to us as children, as I said, there are so many things that are taken from us, the foundation we stand on to grow and be strong and wise and loving and compassionate individuals. As children, we don't have those tools. They're taken from us. So I want to share my story with you of when I was 3 and my first memory of my pedophile. I was 3 years old, and I remember being in the house. I don't know which house. My father was there. I don't have a knowing of whether my sisters or my mother was around. I am not sure. It was just my father and I, and we were standing in the hall that led to the shower. I don't remember a tub. I just remember a shower. And I was 3 years old, like I said. I had little overalls on. I had a little red, white, and blue shirt on, I believe. And I was standing there just next to my dad. The next thing I knew, my clothes must have been taken off, and so was his. Wow, my body is really struggling, so thank you for being patient with me. He also must have taken his clothes off, because we were heading towards the shower. Now, we must have showered, we must have done something, because the next memory I have is we were still nude, and we were sitting next to each other. He was on my right, and we were sitting on this little step. I don't have the memory of what happened to me in that shower. I have the memory suddenly of switching bodies with my father. I then now was sitting in my dad's body. I felt his heartbeat. I felt his breath. And this is what I experienced. I slightly remember going back and just for a moment stepping in his shoes as we walked towards the shower. There was this little energetic of like a regret. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I remember feeling this going, oh, this is interesting. But as I felt it in my dad's body, I remember thinking, this is his, what would you call that? How I felt it was his regret of knowing what was going to happen, something he could not stop, something he didn't understand. He was driven by it. So as we were sitting on this step, which was my next memory, I was in my dad's body and I felt the horror. It was like this howling of pain of what he did. And he looked very briefly at me and could not say the words, but asked to be forgiven in a way, because he was trying to convey to me he did not know what drove him. He did not know what this drive, this passionate, forbidden desire was, but it was. He couldn't fight it. He didn't know why it came. He didn't know when it started. He didn't know when it would end. He just knew it was there. He did not have an understanding of what was done to him. He now was playing it out. And I remember this pain. I remember this overwhelming place of wanting to just drown, to die, to disappear, to become invisible. All these things that were done to me must have been done to him, and he played them out with me. And come to understand, as I grew up, they were also played out to my one sister. Divulged the other story. The other sisters, I do not know their story. As this experience and this memory came back to me, that's why I wanted to title this show, The Knowing of a Pedophile. I stood in his shoes. I walked his walk. I felt his desire. I felt the drive, unending, unmerciless drive of having to get to that point in me, to molest, to get to that center, that sweetness of me. But as we move forward, I went through different stages, and I want to share with you. If you are raging, if you are angry in your stage in this, I understand. I get it. I was there. I even wrote my father a letter just going off. I had to get this off of me, this horrific act that was done to me as a very young child. So many things were stripped of me and taken from me because of it. But I'd like to move forward. I respect you in your stage, whether it's anger, whether it's shame. You will go through shame. You will go through guilt because of how your body craves something you do not understand. You'll go through things of shame if it is being promiscuous, if it is acting out a violent or a molestation act to another, if there's a pleasure that comes up when you're a little rougher with someone, or you get this angst out because, oh, I can get a little rougher, or you play this energy out. I honor you in your step. These are all parts of being a victim to a pedophile. If you'd like to talk about this some more, try to get some understanding, again, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you always, always. I want to move forward into who I am today. This show is, again, not done for blame. It is not done for shame. It is not done to accuse. It is to show the power of love and forgiveness. And I want to start with asking you a couple questions. This is going to be so difficult to those who are still in your process of healing. I'm speaking up so that you may understand there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but there is a place you have to get to, and that is, are you ready to let go of blaming someone else? Are you ready to let go of your anger to that person? The reason I say this is until you can do that, you cannot forgive yourself, let alone your pedophile. When you are in anger, even when you're in shame and guilt, you attract to you these same experiences. Someone who will hurt you, someone who will use you, and someone who will abuse you. They will continue to show up until you are ready to drop your crutches, those crutches that keep us in this place, off balance, disease, however you see it, not in that brilliant, beautiful part of ourselves that I know so much about now, as I've learned to forgive myself and to forgive my pedophile, my father. It began with forgiving myself. Believe it or not, that was my journey. You would think it would be forgiving him. Oh, and then I can forgive myself. No. I had to forgive myself first. Now let me give you some tools. If you're ready to quit blaming and to quit getting angry and being angry at others or him or her or them that has done this to you, let me give you some tools to recognize some patterns. The tools to be aware of are the cravings that will happen in your body. Cravings that are unexplained, unfathomable for a young child. Oh, there's an airplane. I'm going to go back. Let's go back to... Okay, tools. Nope, not quite yet, but there's a plane. All right, tool number 1. Look at what's happening in your body. Your body is going to repeat cravings of what has been done to you. This is because without awareness or consciousness of what is done, that, oh, yep, I see it, I accept it, and oh shit, this is bullshit, this is crazy, this was wrong, I'm angry, I'm outraged, it's ugly. but to also realize it's happened to you. And then to get in a state of, all right, here's things to look for. Cravings in your body. Things you will repeat. Promiscuous, having sex with many people, looking for love. When we are molested at such a young age by a family figure, predominantly my father, my body believed that pattern to be love. Okay, there's supposed to be love here, so that's how love is expressed. Okay, I'm a teenager, maybe not even a teenager, probably a teenager. Anyway, and I began repeating this. I kept having intimate situations with men. And I believed that I was finding love when I said yes. And they gave me what they gave me. And I realized very long after that that was not so. But this is a pattern that your body is going to look for. These are cravings. Let me clarify. These are cravings your body is going to look for. A lot of sex, constant. Because in sex we do not get love. So then as soon as that sexual act is done, your body wants the feeling again. It will look for it again and again. Another craving that will happen is if you're in your bathroom, you've taken a shower, or if you're at a friend's house. This happened to me. I was at a family's house that my parents were invited to, and I went to go use the restroom. And as I was done, I was washing my hands. I remember I looked around, and the oddest thing, I had to be, good Lord, these time is very difficult for me, but I was young. I was somewhere like 12 or 14 or 15. I remember looking around the bathroom and trying to find something that I could put inside of me. I remember looking and seeing the people's house. I saw a hairbrush. And I remember thinking in my head, that's not big enough. That's not going to work. I won't feel that. So I looked around at a hairspray bottle. That wasn't big enough. It wasn't going to work. As I looked around the room, I found different objects. And I remember the craving, but I didn't act on it because it wasn't going to be me that brought this satiating pattern to my body. But I remember the craving of needing or wanting that. My body wanted this again. That's another craving. Cravings that you get are to be touched, constantly touched and held and reminded and of body contact. It doesn't matter how. It can be just a very loving thing. It can be hand holding, a constant touching. I dated a guy, way back in 1986, 1987. He would sit on the couch. He was very independent, and I didn't realize at the time I was very touchy-feely. And so I would tuck my feet underneath him and read my book. And he got frustrated. He goes, "Do you always have to touch me?" Well, that was my way of saying, okay, you still accept me, right? You still are with me. You still love me, right? I have to constantly be touching. Now, as I've gotten older today, I love to be touched. I love to touch, but I understand it as affection. And it's not a necessity, but I do enjoy it. Another craving that you will go through is to be constantly reminded by others, by the external, that you're okay. You might find this in a pattern of thinking you need to be perfect so that you always get those accolades. Whether it's in the job, by a partner, by family, by doing your makeup and hair so you're really, really pretty and they can't not like you. These will be accolades of compliments that come to you, or constant confirmation of, oh, you look so pretty, you're great. Oh, you're successful. Oh my God, you did that so well. Constant accolades of gratitude and compliments of what you're doing or what you've done, what you've succeeded at, or what you look like. These are things that you will crave. I'm going to take just a minute here. So these are tools, these are things to look for that your body will be trying to repeat. These are cravings that your body responds to without your heart or your head being there. It's just what your body wants, because of what it's been done to it. So that's tool number one. Next thing I'd like to share is when you're ready to quit blaming and quit being angry at the person that's done this to you, because that keeps you in anger. It keeps you in blame. You can stay there for years. This happened to me when I was 3. My first memory happened, early 30s maybe. It was my first memory of my knowing. I didn't know why I was so who I was and all these, what we would call back then, ugly places. But these things, I was acting them out. I kept looking for the same experiences. Again, men who would use me, abuse me. I was a sex object. They didn't know me. They didn't like me. They just liked the way I looked. And, ooh, look, that body. So these things, and I attracted these men that would repeat that pattern of being objectified and used. Second tool, when you're ready to quit blaming and quit being angry and knowing that you want to heal this, you want to look at this, start recognizing inside yourself it was not your fault. This person, this pedophile, did not molest you because you weren't pretty enough, you weren't small enough, you weren't quiet enough, you weren't good enough, you didn't, stay perfectly still and not be seen or not heard and only seen. It's all these dynamics we go through. But it was not your fault. You could have done nothing to change this in this pedophile. It is who they are. They have to work through their issues. They have to work through themselves when they are ready. If not, sometimes they can go to jail. My father's brother, my uncle, was jailed because of this. My father was not. I made attempts early on when I was in my rage and my anger to have his community see him. I tried to make him visible in his community because I believed that this was continuing. I believe this pattern, he was doing this to other girls. So I tried that. And then I remember at a point too, I wanted to stop being angry. I wanted to stop the hurt. I wanted to heal. But if you're ready, get professional counseling. Get into a group. When you do this, what's so beautiful about groups and therapy is they know this shit. They know how you feel. They know where you are. You can't hide from them. But there's so much love and support that they're going to help you, little at a time, to come into your own and to feel what you need to feel. Look at what you need to look at, but keep coming out of the pain and step into the healing. This is what's so beautiful about groups and therapy. They're there. They know. They see you. And they hold you in love. They will not give you more shame. And the other thing is, for me, that I can share as a tool, when you're ready, know that maybe, possibly, maybe, you're so much better than this. Gosh almighty, I can only tell you my story. I believe that before I came onto the planet and came into my mother's womb and I was born into the parents that I have, I made a choice to see if I could possibly clear, eliminate, release, get rid of this energy, this action in my family lineage. I believe it was done to my father, and so he acted it out. He did not have an awareness, or he was not able or ready to go there in the pain. I get it. But I believe as I was looking down from heaven, if that's how you want to see it, that I looked down and said, yes, I think I can do this. I think I can be help here. That's how I know I chose to do it. And then when we look at what we've chosen to do, when we look at who we are so much better than the action or the energy, then we realize that as the planet has now shifted, and it back in when we were working on this and trying to get this shit to shift, we were trying to shift from the dark to the light. And that's what we've done. We have tried to shift from the fear to the love for so long, and we finally tipped the balance. 2014, maybe before. And this is what we're given to the planet. This is what I give to my Father, the gift of the love that I am. I know that I am so much more than what my Father did to me. But I also know that my Father, in his own way, the choice he made when he came down to his creation of his body, with the life with his parents, he also chose to say, maybe I can do this. I think I can clear this out. I think that I can bring in more love and not get caught and stuck in this fear. And he also made that choice to try. Try. That is what we're doing. Experiencing new things to release and to get rid of old energy, the fear, the ugliness, the dark, and shift into the light. Thank you so much for being here on my show today. Gosh almighty, I've said it before, but please reach out. If you have questions, you can do it privately through an email to me. I will not disclose what you share. I will not disclose the questions you have, and nothing is wrong, and nothing is too shameful to ask, because in that, we stand in that, we stand strong in everything that matters is everything that's happening to us. That's where we ask the questions from, in that place, in that moment we're at. So please reach out through my new email, my new website, and if it resonates with you, subscribe to my newsletter. Every week I do a forecast of the energy, what we could possibly be going through now this week. The reason I'm doing it weekly instead of monthly is there's so much going on so fast, and it changes. By the time I'm done Sunday writing about the week, I swear by Wednesday, it's different again, but I can't change it. So I do it on a weekly basis the best I can. But it is the forecast of what is to come, what we could go through, and what's happening on the planet and ourselves as energy. So reach out. And as always, before I say that, I want to share a poem about my dad that I wrote. But I'm sending you love always. Dad, a poem of a man who was valiant but did not know his means. He was wise of heart and reached beyond his being. If I were to say to him today the truth of what I see him to be, he would not know what I mean. To a man who I know as a pedophile is a limited way to share him with you. He is a man who was proud and always felt small, but I say this to him now, I love you. I felt, I saw, and I could taste what you did to me that day when I was 3. But as I stood in your shoes and felt your heartbeat, I also released everything that I thought you to be. Your pain, your anguish, and your shame was expressed in that very moment. I felt your horror and your weeping when you could not understand why you were driven with this forbidden desire. I feel you even today. From your heart, I know I will always stay. I relish the man you are. I have seen what you did, not allowing this to filter down any further than you. For this I am very grateful. That is the power of love I see in you. You became that man even though you knew the pain, the shame, and the isolation that you would have to bear in this life as the human. So I reach out to you now, and I hope you feel the flow of the words that I use as I say I love you to the valiant soldier that you are. I honor you in this place, and I honor you, the man who you are today. Dad. Thank you.